Okay, good morning. Thank you very much for coming. I'm going to talk about a successful experience that we have carried out at Universidad Carlos III de Madrid, or University Charles III of Madrid, Spain. You see that my name is very similar to the name of my university. I'm running my own university. Carlos III, Charles III, was a king in Spain 250 years ago. So let me first explain the setting. Freshmen come to university with, in theory, necessary requirements to fully follow the courses they have chosen. But this is just in theory. In practice, we know that there are always sometimes gaps. They have forgotten things they didn't fully understand, especially STEM, physics, math, chemistry, etc. So what many Spanish universities have been introducing a few years ago is what we call zero courses. Courses, very short courses that take place before the real first semester, the fall semester starts. Now the problem is, several years ago, the semester normally started at 20-something of September, but then suddenly everything was advanced until maybe the 7th or 8th of September. So before we had 3 weeks for these zero courses to review the content, but now we have only 1 week. And the problem is that there's a lot of content to review. And the students are too diverse to really fill the needs, fill the gaps. The fact is, professors cannot teach all the content that is necessary just to review, to prepare them for the fall semester. So what did we do? We call it the Genghis project because it's another Khan. We took the Khan Academy platform, which until September 2012 was open source. We adapted it with our own learning management system, which is Moodle. And we had our professors make videos a la Khan and exercises a la Khan. First in physics and then also in chemistry and math. So we just took the platform and the content were from our professors in Spanish and dedicated to the needs that, of content for the coming classes. So for instance, we have Physics 1 and Physics 2, which take place, these are the real courses in fall and spring semester. We had this September face-to-face teaching, but since this wasn't enough, we added to it an online part using a Khan Academy platform in August. So we expanded the 1 week we had by 4 or 5 weeks more. But these 4 or 5 weeks were just online with a Khan Academy platform. Let me show you a few details. So we started in 2012. We just had the first pilot in physics. Let's call it Physics 0. In 2013, we added math and chemistry. And now, as we speak, in August 2014, we have the third round of this experiment. I'm going to report on the Physics 0 in 2013. We don't have results for 2014 because it's still running. So what did we do? We took the Khan Academy platform. We coupled it with the Moodle, which is our learning management system, in order to have single sign-on. We had the physics professors do, at the beginning of 2012, make Khan-style videos, make quizzes from the Khan platform. And then we had, during August, the students see all this material, do all these exercises, together with elements like gamification elements, like badges, which we personalized, we customized to the local setting of Carlos III. We took basically monuments of his time as badges to reward the students. And with a social component, which especially in 2010 was very intense. The students helped themselves a lot. And in parallel, Khan Academy platform has a very good analytics tool, a very good dashboard with lots of indicators that helped the professors prepare the face-to-face part. So we're much better informed where were the problems, where were the students struggling with. Let me show you some screenshots. This is the Moodle that then gave rise or helped to access the videos and exercises. this, the students didn't realize that there was suddenly in the Khan Academy platform, this is some video, Khan-style video. Then there were also experiments made. The important is that the students in control, they can repeat, pause, etc. the videos. Then there were these exercises, parametrized exercises. So every time you call it, you get a different set of values with hints. So if you're stuck, you can ask for a hint, another hint, etc. The importance in this case of immediate feedback to have the student in control of the learning. Then we had this gamification, badges and energy points. As I said, customized to these Charles III monuments, starting with the Puerta Alcalá and going through different monuments in Madrid. And then the social learning component was very important. A student asking, I got stuck and photographed the sheet of paper, I'm having problems, is this right? And another would solve it and help him. So in which case, both learned, the one who is asking and the one who is helping the other student.
Did that happen in Moodle, or was that through the Khan platform?
The social component happened on Moodle, and the videos and exercises were on Khan. And then the analytics. Analytics, which is very rich. This is an actual picture. Each of these chains there, of these dots, is one student. You could see that some are very fast, some wait till the end to complete the videos, and some were having their own pace as needed. You remember this was in August. Typically, August is the month of holidays, of vacation in Spain. Maybe they were at the beach or on the mountain or whatever, and they were following this. And then we didn't remove the face-to-face part. It took place, but the professors were much better informed of what's going on. Now, the Khan Academy platform has a very good learning analytics. There's a lot of indicators what is happening, where the problems are. For instance, we saw that there was a problem with one of the quizzes. They had to determine the angle between two vectors, which is very easy, very straightforward to pose this exercise. But we were seeing that the students were failing there. Why would they fail? The problem is that it was not well stated. Since the exercise was parametrized, every time you get a different set of vectors. And also the zero vector, the vector which is of zero length, is a possible vector, and then the angle is not well defined. So we saw that the problem had to be changed. We should not allow the zero vector in this particular exercise, and we could see it in one of these dashboards. Apart from this low-level analytics provided by Khan Academy, we have added additional high-level analytics in order to have additional information. For instance, how is the efficiency in learning? Maybe they reach the same results, but how fast they have been. Or are the students hint abusers or hint avoiders, or do they follow the recommendations? So the number of higher level analytics which we programmed on top of the low level analytics provided by Khan Academy. I show you here some examples. Completion of videos, so 81% of the videos started, were finished, etc. You could see differences in this efficiency in learning. So the time it takes you to reach the different objectives and goals, etc. But we wanted to know a bit more. We wanted to know, was it useful? Was it, did it help for the students to learn, apart from passing the exams of this zero course? And I will show you three preliminary results, three different analyses. One is a satisfaction survey. We asked the students, did you like it or not? Second, we compared the results of the zero course with previous cohorts where we didn't have this Khan Academy content. And third, we wanted to know what is the effect on the fall semester, on the Physics 1 course. Did it improve the marks? For whom did it improve? Okay, the satisfaction survey was positive, over 5. We got 4 points or so. But more importantly, even we got the congratulations from the student delegations. Not the students, if things work, they don't say anything. They only complain if things don't work. But we got Congratulations. We want more of that. That's very good. Please continue this way. Secondly, we compared the average marks of the previous year from 2006 until 2012, only face-to-face part. And we saw that adding this online part improved the marks, the grades. So this is also positive and a statistically relevant difference. But more importantly, we want to improve the learning of Physics 1. So in order to analyze this, we divided the students into 4 categories. And for this, we used the university entry exam. So students in Spain, when they enter, or they want to enter university, they have to pass a nationwide exam. Everybody has to take the same. So, and they get some marks. It goes to 14. It's very complicated. I will not explain the details. But we divide it into these 4 categories. You have to get the 5 in order to pass, to enter university, and then there are some additional requirements, etc. But so we divided in these 4 categories: very good students, 11 to 14, good students, medium, and bad, and try to analyze what was the effect on these academic contents on them. And we compared the students who passed the Physics 0 course on those who didn't take it, because it was not compulsory. It was just on a voluntary basis that they could take it. They had even to pay for this Physics 0 course. So these are the results. On the right-hand side, those who did not take Physics 0. On the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, those who took it but also passed it, because you can take it and then don't do anything at all. Don't look at any video, don't do any exercise. And we saw that the very good students, there was no effect. They knew the material. They knew their physics, no change at all. The good students, the same, exactly the same, which is kind of strange, but this is the average number. But more interestingly, the medium students, there was a big improvement. And this is where there's improvement possible. Those who didn't grasp anything or everything, but so it helped them to get from here to here, which is a considerable improvement. So in this way, it was satisfactory. What happened with the bad ones? The bad ones didn't even take it seriously enough. So they have not passed it at all. And they're still the worst ones. No? So the situation is, data shows we are on the right track. Good and very good students at least don't get worse, don't change. They don't improve either. Medium students improve a lot. So we helped a big number of students to improve. And bad students, they don't even take Physics 0 or don't take it seriously. You know? The challenge is now how to motivate bad students. I think the situation is similar to what happens in MOOCs. Who takes MOOCs? Those who are educated, who have a bachelor's or master's program, maybe not those who really need it or who could take it. So it's a similar challenge, you know, how to motivate bad students to engage and to take this additional content. And maybe another challenge is how can we challenge these students even to improve more. So these are almost my 15 minutes. It was also interesting to inform the formation of groups for the face-to-face part with the results of the online parts. Before we grouped them just alphabetically, because we make small groups of 20 students. And we took good students together and bad students together because they have different needs. So the online part also helped in the formation of groups for the face-to-face part. So we saw the value of MOOCs, or SPOCS, or MOOC technology in an on-campus setting for leveling. We want to measure better and more. Now we are running it for the 3rd time. We have having pre-test and post-test in order really to see what is the learning in effectiveness. And more things we want to do. We want to create at the university more this culture of creating online content and setting up the necessary support for its staff facilities, which we have started, but I think we need 2 more of that. So I would like to finish by acknowledging many people have been involved here, the physics professors, some researchers, the Vice Director for Undergraduate Studies, who has helped a lot, support staff, etc. So setting up these things means setting up a lot of things, and I think I can report, fortunately, a quite positive experience. Vijay. Since it's being recorded, do you want to go up to the mic? Or the mic can come to you?
The analytics on the dashboard that you were showing what was used to change the treatment during the course? Because a lot of the data was summative data. In the course, when you're looking at the analytics.
What do you mean course? Do you mean the online part or the face-to-face?
When you showed the Khan Academy and the Moodle piece and the dashboard you were talking about.
Yeah.
Data, was it being used to change the instruction or the intervention in real time, or was it just used for data to get these kinds of results at the end?
Yeah, no, it was not used in real time. So during August, I mean, there are not even professors there. I mean, there are some people monitoring it just in case there are catastrophes, but the students were alone there with the material. And we were getting all the information. And the professors, they come back from vacation in August, and then they get this information, and it's used to inform the face-to-face part. So it's very clearly two separated phases, and there's no real time. Yeah. You pass it over. Yeah, yeah, but if you agree, for the recording. Yeah. Thank you.
So you mentioned about gamification habits. The badge, those kind of things really could motivate students to participate. I mean, that's.
We asked the students, and they really liked it, because I got this badge, and then they tweeted it to their friends. I've got this. Have you got it as well? So it really motivated and helped in the small to keep them ahead. Yes.
And you didn't include this one as like a requirement, or is it requirement or counted toward their grade? Or I wasn't so sure about. In terms of curriculum design, is it?
In terms of curriculum, it doesn't give any mark. It's just for helping them get better marks in Physics 1 and Physics 2, etc. So it's not a requirement. It's voluntary, and there's no mark that counts towards the curriculum. Mm-hmm.
Again, just a clarification. How many students were in your study?
Around 100. I have over 100.
But only, okay, so how many actually used the online material? 181?
I mean, the students have to register for it, and they have to pay for it around 50 euros or so. So it's not compulsory. And these were the 180. Not all of them really followed and saw all the material. So it's a quite big distribution from those who maybe didn't enter at all, to those who did a little bit, from those who followed all the videos and all the exercises. So it's a big spread of actual use.
So how many used this one video?
Yeah, I don't have the exact response to more than 100, I would, in any case, yes.
And then it dropped off, did it?
And then it dropped off, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In your student satisfaction survey, I noticed that the usefulness of quizzes was lower than the
lower
other
than
ones.
videos, yeah.
Yeah, but effectiveness was actually higher, as you showed in the last one.
Yeah,
do you have any thoughts, explanations for why that is?
Yeah, I think one problem is that we use the Khan Academy as is. And Khan Academy requires to do every exercise 8 times. This is very deep programmed into the platform. So it's very difficult to change. We looked at it, how to change this. And this was a bit boring for the students. Why do I have to do the same thing 8 times in order to get a badge? So this is one problem with the Khan Academy. It has many good things, but one of the things is this necessity to do everything 8 times. And I think this discourages the students a little bit to do the quizzes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The idea is to go next year for OpenEdX, which is also an important challenge for OpenEdX to have the good analytics tools. Yes.
I think it's really compelling to do a blended course because you have personal interaction with students, and then they can maintain that interaction with some facilities online if you give them good networking or social facilities. Can you comment on how well you thought that worked in your case, and what you thought was the technology that helped it work, and what gaps there might be that we need to address?
Well, this is a very comprehensive question. Yeah. I think, especially if your student population is very diverse, you cannot lecture it all. You cannot teach everything that would be needed for everybody to be satisfied. So using online tools additionally helps a lot. Just to level, as in this case, or maybe for those students who want to deepen into one particular subject, to have additional material. So I think only face-to-face is really too poor for a big population. So online tools are more and more necessary. And this is, by the way, what we're going to do in the rest of this session today. And I'm going to explain in a minute. No? It's important to have good tools that give you good information, give you good analytics, give you good information what is going on. In this case, I think Khan provided a very good background and helped us a lot. Of course, we want to tune things, so it's important that you also have the ability to work with this tool and to change it for your particular context, which in every country or every different context it might be different. What else did you ask?
Really asking about transitions students have to make when they have personal interaction in the classroom.
Yeah.
And you get to know them, and you, as a professor or an instructor, you connect to them,
Yes.
and they gather your passion for learning this material.
Yeah.
How does that transition online? How do they remain a person to you online?
Yeah. I mean, in this case,
If you get lost and become anonymous, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, but we blend the course so that we have that bond.
Yeah.
And I was just commenting
I
that
mean,
we had that bond.
we didn't in this case. I mean, we had the face-to-face phase as before. This didn't change at all. We just added this additional online. So this connection with the professor was there as it was before. We just added new things. So in this case, it was enriched. You know, so maybe.
Did you have tools like forum tools where students could interact online and discuss problems? And did you capture that information, and what did you find out from that?
Yeah, this is one slide I showed about this forum, which was on the Moodle part of it. In the first pilot we did in 2012, there wasn't much interaction, but in 2013, we saw a lot of interaction. I think students are now, or the 18-year-old students, are now in a situation where they're used to interacting with other unknown to them students online, asking things. And we saw this a big change from 2012 to 2013. Lots of situations like this. I'm stuck, I don't get the right answer. Can you help me? I've done this. And then another one answering. This is the way you do it. Or I don't know either. So it was a very rich interaction, only with the students.
I just want to follow up on that.
Yeah.
So based on what you found in the forums, could you identify pieces within the lecture videos or some of the exercises where there was a commonality? Let's say, in this exercise, nobody got it, and we got a lot of traffic here. This means that there was probably the information here was not correctly explained or adequately explained for this group. Did you go back then and say, all right, let's modify these videos? So it's this iterative process.
And this is the advantage of doing online thing, that you can, from one year to another, improve the thing. We have done it. I think we have to do it more. I mean, the example I gave with what was a wrong exercise, so we corrected it for the next. We corrected even for the same year in this case. But we see the possibility of improving videos. The videos that are being run right now, in August 2014, are mostly the same as the one before, except that there were 5 or 6 videos which has been changed on the basis of this experience. And I think this is very important to take advantage of all the things you notice in order to improve successively your content, definitely, yeah.
Ann Taylor from Penn State University. I just wanted to go back to the question about the learning communities and the interaction. We've been doing distance education since 1897, and we have about 14,000 students studying online with Penn State only. Not, they never come to campus. Our average class sizes are really about 30, 35 students online. But we have some that are huge as well. And I can just tell you from our experience, you can create just as incredible a community of learners in the online space and solely online, no face-to-face component, as you can in a classroom. And it has much less to do with the technology or lack of technology as it does the design of the course and what the faculty member does to help the students interact with one another and with the instructor. Mm-hmm. And the challenge isn't any different if you had 30 people in a room versus having 1,000 people in an auditorium with regard to how you're going to facilitate that. So it is absolutely possible to have really incredible, close-knit classrooms online.
Yeah, thank you for this comment. I mean, I'm also directing a master's program on online learning, which is online. People come, if they wish, at the end to present their master's project. It is interesting to see them when they come together. Oh, you look like this. And there's a very intimate relationship already. And then they see their faces in real time and real physical. So it's a very emotion also filled experience. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I can chime in on that. So I taught large scale classes. I taught for edX a 13,000 and a 26,000 scale class. And I was able to distinguish the different members of the class by their users' names. Mm-hmm. They became real people. Mm-hmm. But I had a question for you. I was wondering if you had any numbers about maybe students who did not open a single video but did attend the face-to-face part, and vice versa, students who did every single video and were maybe the very good students and didn't come to the face-to-face.
I mean, all who had registered for the course did the face-to-face.
Oh, every student came to the face-to-face?
Yeah.
Okay.
But some had more deeper interaction online or less.
Oh, I see.
Deeper, yeah.
So, and then another question I was wondering, the time scale of the online portion and the face-to-face and the motivation. I think you released all the material at once online.
Yes.
And I was wondering if you thought there might be improvement by doing it in incremental steps.
I mean, it's during the month of August, this online part, from the 1st to the 31st. We released everything from the very beginning. We see that students see more the first videos than the last ones. I don't believe that we will have improvement if we release it. It's too short a time, really, to do a sequential release of things. And in this way, if somebody wants to concentrate more on we have mechanics and electromagnetism and physics, everything. So if they want to concentrate more on the electromechanics part, even if it's later, they can do it from the very beginning. So they can just pick and choose what they need. I don't think we would get improvement if we do a partial time, yeah. Yes? Oh, okay.
Hi, Dan Garcia, Berkeley. We're looking to build a SPOC-based course to take into the high schools where there will always be an instructor in the room and the MOOC will just serve as the kind of learning management system and online stuff, and if they want to work at home, they've got that. I saw that the SPOC that you had didn't have a face-to-face presence. It was an only purely online piece.
No. First part was online.
Right, but but when you say SPOC, when you say the word SPOC, you meant the online portion is broken up into different groups and it's smaller cohorts taking the online class. Is that right?
Well, maybe, I mean...
Like, what do you mean by SPOC,
Armando Fox invented the word.
Yeah. It was my colleague, yeah.
I know the word SPOC. And maybe there are different understandings of what SPOCs mean. No?
Okay.
So we are using MOOC-like technology in a way, no? With
right.
videos and quizzes, etc. But it's not open, it's private,
okay.
and it's not big.
Right.
We don't have thousands, we have 100 something. So this is why I call it small and private.
Sure,
and I use Armando Fox's acronym. I would understand that there are different ways of implementing SPOCS or different settings. Maybe you have a different setting in mind that what I've done.
Yeah, my sense was small was in the 30s, kind of the classroom space. But I think you're also right that small is not 100,000. I think it's another model that. Yeah. But I'm wondering, just for the group, whether they think that the hybrid model may be the model that works best for most students. I just want to see whether anyone's had experience with a hybrid model. I'd like to hear from some. There's supposed to be people.
Hi, Amy Bennett from the University of Pennsylvania. Actually, I had two questions, and one of them was around, we did a high school pilot with about 10 high schools. We did our calculus MOOC. And so the high schools used it for the whole academic year, and they could self-pace. And what we found was, what we were hoping was that they certainly interacted a little bit on the forums, but they would mostly come to class and do that. And then what we were really hoping is they would interact with all the schools, and we found pretty much zero of that. So I was gonna ask you, and maybe this is for discussion, is when there is sort of a flipped setting, they seem to prefer if they can come into class. And that was really small. So each school maybe had, I mean, they had anywhere from 3 to 20 students participating. That was their preference versus online. So I guess you've had these rich communities, that was their only choice in a way. So when there's a choice.
Haven't met, I mean, they're fresh students.
Right.
And they haven't met, the only possibility to interact was online. And then the only possibility was to meet face to face. So it was a complete, I think with your questions, if you agree, we can go to the second part of this session. I've prepared some slides in order to encourage and to get the richness of your experiences. Pardon, Sherry?
Oh, the second,
okay.
Completely different question. I don't know, maybe we can talk about that piece more, but I'm curious how you're gonna market to the bad and the medium students, because you clearly have some data that says this works if you take it. And I was also gonna tie that into the high school piece. Do you plan to market this to people not quite yet in college to say, if you pass this, you have a greater chance of, and maybe it's even gives them a advantage as they apply. So how you plan to market it to the students? Yeah,
we have started to think about it. We don't have any decision taken. I think the high schools are very important to give them chances, also to attract them to our university by showing them the good content we have. But, I mean, the Spanish system is quite different from the American system, so there are some other parameters that we don't know yet what to do exactly. But I agree that it's important to help also the high school students to come to the university and to be better prepared. Okay, if we have, what do we have, half an hour or so almost, I would like to take this opportunity to try to get from all of you to identify good blending experiences. I mean, some people say the university is going to change differently. This is a report from Australia from 2 years ago. It said in 10 years, every traditional university will be gone, and maybe Google will be doing everything. This is one extreme. University will disappear as we know it. Some others say that, okay, it has survived 100 years. Keep calm and carry on. Don't do anything. Everything will be fine. MOOCs is just a hype. So. But in this, between these two extremes, I think we could take advantage, as we have shown in the previous presentation, that online tools are useful, even for face-to-face students. No? And I think we need models to follow that blend this traditional with online technology. No? And I have presented just one possible model, no? This leveling approach, first online and then face-to-face. For sure, the flipped classroom is another model. No? rather than doing it like this, first lecturing and then homework, we capture, we record the lectures and then do the flipping so that you can view the recordings at home and free time for the professor to be guiding your side. Okay, I think we need more of these models. We need more examples. And maybe we can advance here one step and hearing from you what you think are useful ways of blending online traditional, and maybe we try to identify some models, give them names, and then have others this as an inspiration for using them in their particular settings. No? So let me go a bit further. So the problem statement is we want to hear about your blended education experiences. Then we want to categorize them, and we'll try to identify useful models. And we're trying, I propose, to use a brainstorming technique. And this means that we have distributed some small papers. There are some pens which has been also distributed for those who don't have. And maybe you can write down your favorite blended experience. Then you can explain it here. Then we'll put them here on the blackboard, and then we'll try to categorize them and to see whether we can find good models. Is this a good proposal? Yeah? Okay. Sherry is also helping me. She's from edX. Thank you very much for helping us. So if you agree, just write down your favorite blended experience, come up to the mic, or where's the mic? Or pass it around. And then we'll put them here, and we'll try to make some categories to see whether we can all learn from the different experiences. Okay?
I don't have a pen, so I'll talk, and then I'll find a pen. My phone isn't actually right. There we go. I'm good. How are you? Good. So I'm Kevin Lynch from Colgate University. So we're doing a blended. We actually have two courses now. We're calling it Fusion because we don't know what else to call it. But we have the students on campus in class for credit participating in a MOOC that's also offered for alumni, parents, and friends. And so in the one course, it's, I'll talk more about it tomorrow, Advent of the Atomic Bomb. It's to get that perspective from an older generation to our current students about what was happening with the decision and leading up to the atomic bomb and the aftermath. The other course is Living Writers Online, where we have 10 international authors come to campus. We highlight 4 of those in our MOOC. And again, the in-class students interact with parents, alumni, and friends from around the globe with different perspectives on that. And there's different activities. So I don't know what you call that, but we've gotten really, really good feedback. And one course is just about to launch. The other course we actually ran in the spring. And we did see a huge uptick in student engagement, which was actually surprising.
So this is a combination of a MOOC and a SPOC. So you enrich the SPOC with a MOOC? And
well, it's not a SPOC because it's a in-class, it's a traditional class.
Traditional class, okay.
Where they participate in a MOOC with outside folks that are taking a subset of the course.
Okay, so maybe write one keyword. It's a traditional plus MOOC. Yeah. Very good, very good.
Adam Van Arsdale, Wellesley College. This past year I taught Wellesley's first MOOC, but I taught it in conjunction with an on-campus seminar course that had 15 students. And one of my goals was to try to leverage the advantageous properties of the small seminar-style classroom to improve the MOOC experience, while also leveraging the properties of the massiveness of the MOOC to improve the on-campus brick-and-mortar seminar classroom. Mm-hmm. So one of the goals for that is, well, what do we like about our Wellesley College classes? We like that they're directed class sessions, but ones where you're not certain necessarily entirely what direction it's going to go. The kind of spontaneity of an in-class discussion with engaged learners that ideally you want to use that as a model for the kind of discussion forums you want to develop online. So we videotaped select class sessions where we knew we'd have directed discussions, but without a clear sense of what direction those were going to go, and use those then as video models actually to feed discussion forums in the actual MOOC itself. And those discussion forums were actually very successful. It took a lot of work because editing a 70-minute class down into something that's maybe 15 or 20 minutes that's useful and that online learners will follow is hard. It requires a lot of effort. At the same time, the class was about human evolution, so largely focused on issues of human variation. You can only sample so much variation out of a class of 15 students, but a class of 15,000 students, there's possible to see a lot more of what real variation looks like. So trying to sample that variation of the actual massiveness of the online class, something I could never do in my on-campus seminar, and bring that as pedagogical materials into my on-campus classroom. And that was successful, though. There you run into challenges related to privacy issues and exactly how you're managing these data and what kind of data you're really producing. But trying to take advantage of the advantages of a small classroom to improve the big, massive classroom, and doing the opposite as well, trying to take advantage of the properties of massiveness to improve the small on-campus learning experience.
So this is somehow related to yours, but it's a bit different, no? Because you also record the traditional classes and feed them into the MOOC. No? So it's
record select elements out of the individual classroom.
So it's similar, but with some nuances, some differences. Very interesting. Very good.
Just to quickly get back to what you had been asking before, my background is as an instructional designer. I'm an administrator now, but that's my 20 years of experience. Blended's best, but it's not possible for everyone. So the 14,000 students that I was saying we have online, they can't come to our campuses. So we are thrilled that we can help them study and learn successfully online. But yeah, the ideal would be the blended. So the example I wanted to share that I think is cool, a faculty member just started working with my institute to develop a sustainability course there where he uses Jamaica as the microcosm to study sustainability. It's an island, you got a lot of control there. And in the past, it was a face-to-face class where he took about 15 students in the culmination of the class to Jamaica for 2 weeks. So they studied face-to-face throughout the semester, and then at the end of the semester, together they went to Jamaica and put into practice everything they'd been learning. What we're doing now with him is putting that course online so that everything but that Jamaica experience is now going to be online. And instead of 15 students, we hope to have 100 students. 15 of them will go to Jamaica at the end of the semester. The other 85, who will be our distance learners all over the world, will continue to work like this with them, using Skype, using discussion forums, and being as much a part of that experience, feeding them data, researching things, going back and forth as we can humanly, put into that course, so that those distance students get as much out of that final 2 weeks as the on-ground students do. And I thought that was a really cool way to make the best of both worlds and to integrate students who are not physically able to be physically together.
How would you summarize this into a headline?
A new category.
Because this is an additional thing. I mean, people traveling, so this is not traditional class, with people traveling and
but only
acting
a portion
as
of them.
Yeah, part of them acting as delegates for the others, as reporting.
Someone else I'm bad at titles. Someone come up with a good, we'll use it.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Carrie from Canvas Network. I support a lot of faculty at different schools and different institutions of every size all over the world and building their different MOOCs. And one of the great things is to see bringing a public audience into the classroom. I coached a faculty member who wanted to do a course on popular music. And to have that global perspective, because the semantics, just understanding what the songs are about, just to bring in that global perspective is fascinating. Thank you very much. That's a great segue. We couldn't have planned that any better. Thinking about project-based learning, thinking about distance learners who want to participate fully, but they can't be present. Right now we're working with Suffolk University doing a course on the history of Boston. Now, not everybody can come to Boston. However, we can craft activities and do discussion prompts that says, go to your community. We're going to learn about the history here in Boston. Now go to your community and find a landmark, find a historical figure, find a monument, find a statue that tells a similar story and tell us about your culture. So it really opens up global learning, and I can throw out a term, it's not my term, but this liberated structure. We can have the structure of a course, but we can liberate it, tear down the walls, let people have some freedom and some control about how they're interpreting their learning, how they can do some sense making of their own and empower the students.
Term I can contribute is crowd commissioning, which is crowd commissioning. So you commission the people to do something and take advantage and bring it back to the class. So it's, I mean, crowd commissioning would be, I think, would fit into what you crowd commissioning. Yeah? Do you like that? Do you agree with that? Yes.
So as I mentioned before, the model we're going to try to do is the SPOC vision is to have high school teachers all feel ownership. So one of the important things we're working with a lot of high school teachers for the last 3 or 4 years is to not have it feel like we're the only ones who know anything because we live in the ivory tower and you just follow our MOOC and that's an issue. So what we're trying to do in the SPOC model is to have the online resource. We've marketed it as the greatest ebook ever, and you as a high school teacher can make a decision what modules you like and what modules you don't like. And so it's being able to kind of customize it in that model. So in terms of a model, the high school teacher has control over the whole thing. In theory, they have the analytics. They have their 10 students, 20 students, and they can see the charts, the beautiful Khan Academy charts. Again, edX has to give us some analytics, that's a challenge, but we're going to get some of those Khan Academy charts as well. The real question I think is interesting is, where are the borders? You can imagine aquariums, and here the sharks are swimming over here, and this might be some highfalutin school, and they're all brilliant kids, and they're over here. And so here's another group of challenge students, and here's some other. And so you have them all in there. They're all inheriting the course from you. In the SPOC model, they all kind of make a copy of the course, and they have it. And they can decide to throw away Module 3. And for their students, they never see Module 3. They just see 1, 2, 4, and 5, and it seems seamless to them. You know, the checkboxes all just work. And this group wants, like so all of them, this one teacher wants to add a module. That's all fine. It's all wonderful. The question I have for you is, where should you let the fish play? Like, you know, when do you raise up the borders between these courses and let the students work together? One of the comments I think Amy had was the students in the calculus didn't talk together, right? So what are the things that can be gained by allowing them to talk together? What are the things that can be gained by realizing that you're part of a larger global community of students all learning the same course, maybe at different rates, and because of the different rates, people are asking questions about week 7 versus week 1, because that's where we are, because we're at different time. Just what are the benefits of having them play together? I think I'm still challenged with, because as of now, I just keep them all in separate pins, just let them talk within their own group, and that's all you have. But they're all in a high school, so why do they need to talk together online? Because they already talk to each other all the time. So there's a little bit of, like, what are the benefits of MOOC within the group, and what are the benefits of putting them all in the same pool?
We have several. I think at the back he was. At the back is also later. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say one of the benefits of letting them all play together, especially on a large-scale class, is that you can have less staff. You know, I was teaching this 26,000 student person. I was the instructor, and I had 1 TA. We tapped the community and had, 10 community TAs. They were helping the students were helping each other. There were student-run contests that they were organizing on their own. And so that's the big benefit, that's the benefit of letting them play. And, it would tap into the good and the very good students, how to improve them, because now they're helping the bad students.
Hi. I have a really interesting use case of combining MOOC large-scale global open course with a SPOC. So we're working with Professor Jeffrey Sachs at Columbia University, and he's got this great MOOC on sustainability. And 26 universities worldwide want to inherit that material and teach it in a classroom environment. But to enhance the experience of the students, so in each classroom there's only like 30 students in each university. And a lot of sustainability problems may be existing somewhere else out in the field. So we've created 2 instances of OpenEdX. So my company offers an OpenEdX private instances. And so we've created two instances. One is a MOOC open global course where we expect 100,000 students worldwide who's going to enroll. Currently we are running a test, and it'll start next month. And then this 26 universities instructors are going to we are creating a private instance for these 26 universities.
One for all of them?
One instance for all 26 universities,
okay.
but these are all classroom, where each of these 26 instructors and the TAs are going to take part of that material from Jeffrey Sachs, and they're going to run a 4-credit paid on-campus course. Now, where these two groups intersect is really in project-based learning, because sustainability could be a very dry topic unless you actually are faced with real-world problem, like what is the water problem in Africa, or how do you put a sewer line in India? So these classroom students are going to really benefit from these 100,000 people globally, because those people some of them are practitioners. They are not a student in the classroom. They might be working in governments, and they might be actually putting up water lines somewhere. So the way these two communities are going to intersect is in two ways. One is in projects. So when projects are given, these communities are going to be encouraged to partner with people outside the classroom. So they can actually find people in the group. So we've created collaboration applications on the top of Open edX, where the discussion forums can intersect, where although these two instances are separate, one is open and free, and for anyone in the world to join. Another instance is just for these single sign-on through the institution. There is a forum area where both these communities can talk to each other. And in that forum, in discussion forum, the instructors can go and put a project there, and people can form their own groups. So although it looks like a very large community of 100,000 people, these communities can intersect between global and local in groups of as little as just 5 people. And they work on a specific project, and then they post their assignment, and then there is peer grading, using the edX capability, and then there is some peer voting and grading system inside the discussion forum, where it encourages them to participate and do that group collaboration. And then to Amy's point about, how do you get them to really participate and in the discussion forum, the grading for those 26 university students, because it's a 4-credit course, part of that grading, 20% of the grading is based on their participation in the discussion forum. So they are encouraged to reach out to people outside their classroom, outside the people, those 20 people in the room, because other 20 people they're all in that country, in that room. They're not going to bring as much diverse perspective as people outside the world. So that is, enabling them to really participate and seek other people, form the groups, create that collaboration, work on that project, post it, and then help other people. And so this is a really great example of Open edX, because it allows you to do that, because we've grabbed the open source Open edX instance. We can create these multiple instances. We can merge these two instances. We can create additional collaborative applications on the top of it, and then make this kind of MOOC and SPOC all coming together.
With the projects, and I think the projects is
right.
very important
on the same exact course,
there.
and it is multi-university, and also engaging anybody in the world who wants to be part of that experience.
Give it the name.
Yeah, I'm struggling. Actually, this is so fantastic. This is such a great session, because we've been thinking about what is this name where MOOC marries with SPOC, and
but there are different ways to marry them. Yeah.
Sorry.
So project-based MOOC SPOC combination, or something like this.
Yeah, I think this is one more flavor, potentially. I mean, we might all be saying sort of the same thing. I think there's these little
variations,
little variations, but those are what's key. So this might be another use case. We did 2 design courses. One is in its actually 5th run. It's a MOOC. And the thing about design is that not only is it project-based, but it's kind of the journey that matters. So what you do, identify the need, you come up with solutions, you test them, et cetera. So it's this process, and you have to show this process. And actually in a MOOC, with peer grading, it's hard to do that because you don't have the same 5 people looking at it each time. So we had to find a way where people could look at the journey, if you will, so they knew the work you were doing. So one thing about project-based learning is you get to see things along the way, and typically in class, students would get critiqued or show that to their instructor, but it's kind of a private, somewhat private process. Now you're sort of putting it out there. And what that does is it makes all the future students to come see where the bar is. and see what's possible with different types of projects. So back to this, we did a Designing Cities course, and our professors had Philadelphia to work with. So students would go out into a community in Philadelphia, which offers a lot of rich opportunity, but it was contained to Philadelphia. So when we did the MOOC on Designing Cities, we had students from around the world in their own cities and communities taking a problem and presenting a solution. And now those professors have thousands of examples from other cities to kind of bring back into the classroom. So again, it's this kind of hybrid, but I think the idea of when you push the boundaries and you can select from a pool, it just raises everybody's you know, quality of what
Yeah, I
they're
think
doing.
maybe the first phase of the MOOCs was centralized to everybody, and now it's coming back, no?
Yeah,
To taking advantage of
attracting
this
into it,
connection
yeah.
in order to enrich everybody, but the other way around, yeah, yeah, that's good. TC.
Yeah, I'm T.C. Pong from the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. I just want to share with you one model that we are calling it the extended flip model.
Standard flip model.
What we are doing is on a MOOC called Science of Gastronomy, Science of Cooking. We have offered the course twice that attracted over 100,000 students. What we have done in the spring semester is that we allow our students to take the MOOC during the semester. And then after the MOOC, we have given that our own students, we have around 40 students sign up for this MOOC. And then during the summer, they actually are taking the course on campus. And then at the end, they'll earn a credit for it. So they really benefited from the diverse opinion from the discussion forum, because there are chefs who have 40 years of experience. They talk about vegetarian cooking, Western cooking, and Chinese cooking. Now they are bringing back the idea in class when they actually try to do the cooking. But so on the MOOC, you cannot really do the cooking as a group, but now they can do it on campus. What we are trying to do now is to use that as a way to expand the student exchange program, so that because for this kind of extended MOOC, the student can finish the course in just a few weeks rather than the entire semester. So we are now working with some partners in Asia. So after they have taken the MOOC during the summer, they can come to our campus, or our students can go to their campus to finish the course and earn credit for it. So I think this is a way that not only that we can take advantage of the MOOC to do the SPOCS, we also look at these as a platform for inter-institutional collaboration.
Very good. So it's a MOOC to prepare for the real experience, and then you do it with other universities as well. Very good. Okay, we are almost 12. Maybe we take two more, and then we close it. You and you.
I'll try to be brief. One of the challenges with blended learning and all these blended environments is how do you aggregate the information so you actually understand what the participation of the students are? And I guess one of the challenges with blended learning is how do you aggregate the information? How do you access the information that your students were accessing from Facebook, because all that is private data? How do you access information from Khan Academy? They might have APIs, but you don't get all the information that you want. And how do you bring all that together to actually get the clear picture of what is going on in a blended course? Because you don't know what communities are forming and how people are really exchanging information.
Yeah.
We understand it's a really good model and it's a good pedagogical model, but we don't really have the tools to understand the analytics behind why it is a good model. Yeah. So I would encourage to sort of figure ways of bringing the technology that can aggregate all this information together.
Very good.
So I wanted to talk about a SPOC. I think it was a SPOC that I gave, but I'm an amateur at this, so take it with a, it's nowhere near the scale of some of the institutional models being done here. But I thought I'd bring it up, and it's a course where we teach algorithm development to engineering students. But I do it in China, where students are using English as their second language, and where they're going to be exposed for the very first time to the teaching methods that typically I use, that are typical of MIT and universities here in the US, versus the more conventional teaching methods in China. And after teaching it 1 year in person there and understanding the students a lot better, it was a very modest group of students I had, maybe 30, I returned and I taught what I called a sandwich course. And my sandwich course was oriented to make sure that I could make a personal connection to the students. So what I did as the first part of the sandwich was I went to China and I taught them in person for 1 week in a very intensive experience where I got to know them and we got to preview the course material and the course goals. Then I went back to MIT and for 9 weeks I offered the material online through edX. The students were also working with a Moodle that had been customized, much like your Moodle, for them, which had both an English and a Chinese interface. And then I returned because what we did online was we constructed modules that had outcomes that you could then put together in the final week as projects. And I worked with a second instructor, and we did a project-based portion of the course to review the concepts and pull everything together. I just wanted to mention that it wasn't necessarily a success. It had a lot of challenges, and only by teaching it the first time did I know those as opposed to solve them. One was that the students communicated on QQ, which is a Chinese chat facility, and they completely stayed off our social forums. We tried to entice them with all sorts of ways. It actually took a lot of work to tell the TAs that they should try and bring them back to the online forums we had. And the second thing is that the students had to deal with the technology being less than perfect. You know, the videos took a long time to download. The Open edX servers we were running in China were a little bit less than under-provisioned. So they were grouping together to look at the material sometimes, but we couldn't capture that in our analytics.
So shall we call this the sandwich model, maybe?
Right, and so there we were sitting here in the US for 9 weeks with them far away, and our bridge was the teaching assistants, right? We had met those teaching assistants, we had brought them along to be invested in the outcomes of the course, and they were our connection, but that's a very tenuous connection when you're far away. So anything that would help our teaching assistants provide that link while you're far away in distance learning. All those, you know, I know other people, it's not just a technological solution I'm looking for what was mentioned earlier, which is that it's course design that's going to make the difference here. And so I'm very interested in hearing those ideas about how course design in that situation. We call it a sandwich because I went there, we had the MOOC in the middle, and then we went back. So it was a sandwich course.
Okay, it's time to finish, unfortunately, because the conversation was very rich. I wanted to categorize this. We don't have any time. Maybe Sharon and I, we can try to, maybe we can write something to summarize it and then post it somehow. So thank you very much, everybody, for your contributions. Very, very interesting.